and welcome to the Humans of Growth podcast, where we talk about the stories and strategy behind business growth and development. I'm your host, Allie Hathcock, and today's episode is sponsored by Parison Network, the new way for brands to find the right fit marketing partners. If you're looking for marketing support but don't want to spend all day on Google, Parison Network has you covered with free agency searches for both brands and businesses. You can go to parisonnetwork.com to schedule a free strategy session. Today's guest is Whitney Catalano. Whitney is the marketing manager over at Financial Gym. The Financial Gym helps people manage their money by giving them a personal coach who makes a plan that's just for them, that is 10 times better than what you'll get through a normal financial planner and advisor who just uses jargon with you all day long, where they're focusing on what are your real life tangible goals for everyday average humans, without all the judgment, all the jargon that comes along when you may hire a wealth advisor, normal financial advisor. You probably experienced it. So Whitney, welcome to the show.
Thank you. You nailed that.
So I introduced the professional side of you a little bit, but
Yeah.
I would love to hear in a sentence or two, who are you as a human?
Yeah. I don't know. I would say I am like a very sort of empathetic and compassionate person. I'm like have a expertise in human behavior and behavior change. I really get people. I like studying people. I think people are very interesting, and I'm a skilled communicator as well. And that's been kind of a through line no matter what I'm doing, is it always comes down to like helping people, figuring out how to talk to people, and like fine tuning my communication skills.
I love it. So you have a little bit of an interesting backstory on how you got connected to financial.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up with that. I'm going to let you take it. Tell me where you want
Yeah.
to go.
I'll try to give you like the short version because it is funny. I filed for bankruptcy in 2023. I worked for myself for a long time, like 7 years. I was an ADHD life coach. Before that, I worked in disordered eating, disordered dieting. I was very involved. I built my business very, very fast. And then I burnt out very, very fast because I didn't understand my brain. I didn't understand my energy management. Running a business was a whole new thing. And so, somewhere along the way during COVID, I was not doing well mentally, got in a ton of debt, was like throwing money at business coaches that were not charging rates that were reflective of their skill. And I was vulnerable at that time and very stressed out and anxious. And so I got myself in a pretty deep debt. And I had a family friend of mine be like, hey, I've heard about this company called the Financial Gym. I know someone there. Like, you should reach out to them. So I reached out to them once I was ready to actually deal with it, because I spent like a year like avoiding it and being like, I'm going to just make $500,000 my business and I'm just going to solve all my problems, which obviously never, like, that doesn't work. So that was never going to be my path. My path was to learn this the hard way, which great. And so I became a client of the Financial Gym. I ended up filing for bankruptcy. And then, about a year or so later, I get a call from the CEO and she's like, do you want a job? Like, you're a great marketer. You're scrappy. You get the gym. You've done this before. So she brought me in.
I love that. So you've referred to yourself as a bankruptcy influencer,
Yeah.
according to your website bio on TikTok. So how did you lean into that vulnerability publicly? What is it like? You have 50,000-ish followers on TikTok. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
So I've been making content on the internet for like 10 years now, right? And when I worked in disordered eating, disordered dieting, body image, and all that stuff, a lot of the way that I built my business was through my own story, right? Using my story to say, hey, I get it. I may not have had the experience of being in like a significantly bigger body, but I've had these experiences. I had these, like, I started dieting at 12. Like, it was all about my experience. And I shared a lot of my recovery process before starting my business, and then I started it, and like that marketing was key. The fact that I got it was key. So from there, I just kind of learned, like, people want to hear your story. I have a way of, I think I alchemize lessons very quickly, and I'm able to sort of turn them into like lessons very quickly. And so I just was like, I was really ashamed of the money stuff. That was one thing. I've always shared vulnerably online. That's never been a problem for me. But this was one area that I was like, people are going to judge me. They're going to think I'm a bad business owner, whatever. And so after I filed, I just was like, I have to just do it. I cannot sit on this. I can't keep it a secret. And so I did a whole launch. Like, I did multiple podcast episodes. I came out as like having filed for bankruptcy. You know what I mean? And then it just, like, I didn't intend to become like a bankruptcy influencer. And I will say that that title is like a bit of a tongue in cheek. Like, my friends just think it's really funny to call me a bankruptcy influencer because they're like, what a plot twist, you know? And I'm like, no, for real. I'm like the queen of plot twists. Like, I don't, side quests and plot twists are where I thrive. And so I started getting brand deals, and I launched like a little course of like 5 days to face your finances to help people who are really like anxious actually like sit down and look at their finances. I like started getting a lot of attention for my bankruptcy on TikTok specifically. And that's kind of when Instagram was like going downhill pretty fast. And so I was like, okay, this is a new thing. That's how I ended up there.
Okay. I love that. What are your feelings? And I know TikTok just rolled out new guidelines or things that are coming down the pipeline. I have not seen them. That's my disclaimer. TikTok is like my dirty, dark secret that I don't spend a ton of time on.
Yeah.
But what's kind of like your game plan, and what should businesses be thinking about as TikTok evolves, changes, and all the mess that is considering the current political, social, economic environment?
Okay, there's two parts to this. There's the guideline changes that are coming up, and then there's the like plan that they have to convert TikTok into like a US only app and sell it. Like, it's that part. I'm like, I honestly have no idea. I don't have an answer for you on that, because I too am wondering, like, TikTok is not going to be TikTok if it's a US only app that's controlled by whoever. Like, that's just, they're trying to isolate us from the rest of the world. And I don't like that at all. Because it's the place where like I've been able to connect with so many people around the world, and it just doesn't, it's really unfortunate. But the TikTok guidelines, I think if you're a business, businesses and people with sort of safe messaging will thrive. I think it's a really good time actually to be a business marketing on TikTok. I think it's a really bad time to be a creator who's interested in politics and interested in social and cultural things, because like I post a lot about that, right? And I get my views suppressed, and it's like pretty tame. Like, what I post about is pretty tame.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
So
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think one of the things I've learned with Instagram going downhill was that like you can't rely on these platforms. And you just have to find other ways, have backup plans, have things that you own yourself, like an email list or a Substack or something like that. Because they're always going to like let you down at some point, which is really unfortunate.
Yep. And that's what I've told people, and like business owners, whether it's you yourself as a solopreneur, whether it's your $1 million agency, you have to assume TikTok, Facebook, Instagram are not going to have your best interests in mind as a business owner. And you can lose your account at any moment, and there's nothing you can do about that. I think early pandemic, a lot of people lost their platforms from one thing or another. And it destroyed a couple. If COVID didn't destroy their business, losing the tens of thousands of followers that they built on social media because they didn't have an email list, kind of decapitated.
Yeah, that, and also like reach really got hit. So for me, one of the things that like was kind of the beginning of end for my own business, and not because I couldn't have salvaged it, but because I didn't have the energy left. I just was like out. But when my reach started to get really hit, and I knew it wasn't just my content being bad, it was the fact that they like transitioned away from pictures and long captions. And that is how I built my brand. Photos and long captions were literally like what I was known for. That and like Twitter screenshots, right? And to me, it's Twitter still. Like, you cannot, and I don't go on that app, but I'm like, it's Twitter. And I literally built my business on these two apps. And when they switched away from that, instead of doing a more casual switch to Reels, they tried to overcompensate by going so far in the video direction that photos got like really punished. Now it's a little more balanced, but it ran a lot of us off the app because we were like, we don't know. Writing is like so important to me, and I'm a great speaker, but putting it in like an under 3 minute video format is just not my
It's
strength.
not feasible. It destroyed anybody who enjoyed writing long captions.
Yeah.
So anybody who is not a traditional content creator of like, let me go film videos, but you have vlogs from the 90s, like
Yeah.
they got crushed. Yep.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of creators turn to Substack, which is interesting, but I don't, it's still not a long-term solution because they don't own their Substack.
Yeah, I don't really know. I guess the ownership is different on Substack, but it's still not. I've seen people talk about how in the terms and conditions, like you still don't own it. And so I don't really know why Substack is like being marketed as this thing that's like different than social media. But people are having a lot of success on it. I'm just like not convinced in the longevity either, like you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like if you don't own it, it's nice because it'll push other people to your subscriptions on Substack. But it's still like, why don't you just go write a blog post and use some SEO and throw some Pinterest pins pointing towards it, and you'll be fine. You have your business going, you're still UGC creating. Now you're over at Financial Gym. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. So one of the sort of lies that I think was really spread throughout the sort of golden days of business, of online coaching, which is what I call it, because there was two phases of the golden days of online coaching. There was the 2016 through 2019 phase, which was like funnels, funnels, funnels. Everything was a funnel. So I learned a lot about funnels during that time, and like thank God, because everything is a funnel, right? So it equipped me to be a really good marketer and good at my job. But then there was like the golden era, the second golden era, like 2019 through 2022 ish, where before the bubble popped, where people were selling mindset as a solution to your business problems. And one of the things I learned towards the end of me running my business was, oh, I have real gaps in my marketing knowledge. So when I got into a marketing position, I've like learned so much from being on the job and just like having to track KPIs and like, because literally a year ago, I didn't even know what a KPI was. Like I never like worked in corporate. So it wasn't, and this isn't Financial Gym isn't corporate by any means. It's more like a startup, but like I never worked in corporate. I never had to like report KPIs. So I like understood that I was tracking some things, but it always felt very deeply personal success. And it's not. Success is like literally numbers. And so that has been really grounding for me, and also just like a beautiful lesson of if and when I go back to self-employment one day, like I have such a more neutral perspective on how to actually deal with marketing because of this experience in the Financial Gym and just like needing to detach myself from the outcomes.
Right. And it's definitely, I think it's a big jump when you work from yourself and you're doing your own marketing to now you're in not corporate, but you're in small, mid-sized business enterprise. And it's like, oh, you want to track every single number that comes through our system.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely an adjustment. So what does it look like on the day-to-day for you?
Right now, we've been undergoing a lot of changes because, frankly, like when I got into the Financial Gym, our tech was not 2025 tech. Like it was, the Financial Gym was originally started as in-person business. Like they had an online aspect, but they had actual gyms like in New York, in Chicago, in like a lot of major cities that people would walk into, you know, so they're I think a lot of not only the leadership, but like operations people within the gym, and we all will admit this very, very clearly. It's just switching during COVID, switching to an entirely online model. The
Yep.
tech didn't keep up, and so we've been undergoing like huge changes. So right now, on a day to day, it's been like I taught myself how to do meta ads because we didn't have anyone doing meta ads for us anymore. And so I was like,
Yep.
okay, let me do this. It's making creative. It's a lot of just like trying to figure out how to connect the dots with the tracking. Cause like Salesforce is actually the worst thing I've ever used in my life. And
Uh-huh.
I resent them deeply. And yet it's a powerful system. And so we're not going to move away from it. But like, God, you couldn't make it any more user friendly. Like, what is happening? It's really, I have words with the Salesforce people.
We do with Salesforce and also to some degree HubSpot. Could you make this any more complicated?
No, so I got to the Financial Gym after they had moved away from HubSpot and poured so much money into switching into Salesforce. And now it's like we have been in this ever like nonstop trying to figure out Salesforce, and it
Okay.
is just crazy. It's
When did
crazy.
y'all make the switch to Salesforce?
I think it was last summer they did it. I started in October, so
Okay.
they were just getting like going when I started. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, day to day is a lot of that. It's a lot of like tracking numbers. I mean, tracking takes forever right now because we don't, it's like all by hand. Like, I'm figuring that out. We're trying to figure out how to connect it all. And then it's like writing emails, it's making content when I have time. I'm like, it's me pitching to our leadership to be like, hey, can we get a content creator in here? It's like a totally separate job in itself. So there's just a lot of like things that we're figuring out. And I actually just had a meeting earlier where it's like we're in a foundational period right now. And it's very fun for me because I love marketing operations. Like marketing ops are really kind of where I thrive because I'm good at finding problems and solving them. And there have been so many little ones that I'm like, let me solve them.
What's your favorite little problem that you have solved in the past 6 months?
I think even just like I advocated very strongly for a click to pay option. So right now, the only way to be a client is you have to book a warm up call, get on a
Okay.
call with one of our warm up callers. And the warm up callers are just clients. They're current clients who make a little extra money per call. They don't make money based on conversion. They just
Yep.
are there to share their experience, share their story. So they are not salespeople by any means.
Okay.
So I started looking very closely at the data around the warm up callers and being like, okay, what's actually happening here? Why are people like taking time to think about it? What's going on? Where's the drop off? Where are we not capturing people? And then also just advocating for like, we need an option of click to pay for people who don't want to do the whole calling process. They just like want to join.
Yeah.
And we just needed better billing tracking. Like I needed to be able to like more quickly get a lifetime value, for example. So like seeing all of that and being able to like we implemented new pricing models. I've been very involved in like the client experience as well, because I really do think marketing and client experience go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
So it's been fun. We've just been like upgrading things and trying to make it more seamless and more efficient because it just wasn't very efficient before. And it's like starting to really come together now. And I love seeing it come together. Like that's my favorite.
I love that. What was leadership's decision to not just have a click to pay? Because y'all are on a 3 month, 6 month, 12 month membership. In my head,
Yeah.
because I come from a lot of like the SaaS world, what was behind their decision to kind of almost force a discovery call before people could invest?
We have the oldest billing portal of all time. Of
Okay.
all time. And I don't know, I think this billing portal was created, it was a billing portal that was like created for us by a company that like connected to authorize.net.
Yep.
And I'm like fairly certain that they just were like had so many other things going on and it was working fine enough that
Okay.
like whatever, and there was also a lot of debate for a long time about price transparency, and we only just put pricing on the website like a month ago. And that was something again that I also really advocated for, because as a consumer, not having pricing on the website used to work really well. Now people want prices. They want to see exactly what's going on. They want all the details. Like people have really they see through the marketing tactics. They see through the like vagueness, right? And they just want to get to the point. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. And yes, some people have like want to get on that call and talk it out, but a lot of people don't. They're just like,
Yep.
tell me the price. Like, what is it? And then I'll decide. So that's been a big change. I think it was just like keeping up with how consumer behavior has changed a lot in the past few years. And then also just like an ancient billing system that everyone was dreading upgrading.
Yeah, and well, the thing that was interesting from y'all's website is initially I expected this to be multiple hundreds of dollars per month, weekly calls, that sort of
Right.
thing. From having known like wealth advisory, financial management, all of that, what I've seen over there, I'm like, okay, how much would this cost me? And it's like, oh, it's $100 a month. Like, are you like
Right.
I pay like 350 for like a piece of software per month.
I know.
You're like, okay, cool, bye, thank you. And that's why
Yeah.
it's interesting, because there's a big debate online of like traditional marketing, of the people who've been in marketing for 10, 15 years and the people who are newer. And what I've seen is like the people who've been in marketing for a while, especially service-based people, are like we don't put our pricing on our website because it's so custom. And that makes sense when you're a marketing agency because all of my packages are custom. But when you're kind of operating as a pick one of these three options, it saves you so much time so that anybody you're getting on the phone with is qualified. And
Yes.
also, your prices are, for the most part, relatively low compared to
Yeah.
what people are expecting. So it's almost like, I don't know if y'all track conversion rates, but part of me is like, I think your conversion rate is going to be a lot better because people are a lot, the pricing is so good.
Yeah. No, really, like that was a big problem is that we weren't even able to identify like the quality of the people that were coming in because obviously we're running Google ads, we're running Meta ads. There's always going to be unqualified people that are coming in who are just not fit for the product. It's too expensive, whatever. But because we didn't have pricing, we did have a lot of those. And our conversion rates haven't gotten like significantly better, but we just implemented this. Like you're catching us at like a brand new time. And
Yep.
so we're really paying attention now. Like I'm very curious to A/B test the click to pay option.
Mm-hmm.
We also only rolled out the 3, 6, and 12 month change in the past month.
Oh,
So
okay.
like that's brand new. Before it was a 3 month minimum always, and then month to month. It was single price across the board, single like solo membership, and then a couples membership, and that was it. So we
Okay.
didn't have like save money by committing longer, and that already has been a huge success. People
Yep.
love that. Like we've had a lot of clients actually call and be like, "Hey, I want to commit and get that lower price." And we're like, "Yeah, do it."
Cool. I love that. What was the decision making process behind that?
It was really just looking at how can we strengthen client retention
Okay.
because our client retention is pretty good. What's interesting about the financial gym is we have people who stay for 3 months, they come, they get the plan, they leave.
Yep.
Totally understand that. I think that's a super valid way to use us, honestly. Then we have people who've been with us for like 10 years, or like 8 years. Like we have, so our lifetime value is actually pretty good when you average it out. But there is something that happens with financial coaching where people get scared, they get spooked when they're starting out and they don't like give it what they should be giving it, and then they disappear on us, and then we're like, dang. And a lot of those people, I will say, come back a year or two later and they say, I wasn't ready before, I'm ready now. And I'm like, as someone who put off dealing with my finances for a year, I deeply, deeply understand that. But
Yep.
we wanted to kind of incentivize people to, one, have a more affordable monthly option because we are like really trying to democratize the service as much as possible. But
Yep.
then two, like just incentivize people to really commit and be all in because it's so much more effective when you are. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that was the ultimate decision. Yeah.
So when it comes to marketing strategy, give me the big picture of what does marketing look like for y'all?
Yeah. Marketing right now is really like Google ads we do really well with Google ads because people either
Okay.
hear about us and they search us or they're searching financial advisor. People actually search for financial coaching now. They search for like therapist for money. You know what I mean? Like there's the search terms are there.
Yep.
So we have Google ads. I've been running different like meta ad creative trying to test what's going on. We have a quiz funnel, which for the longest time, like since the day I got in, I wanted a quiz funnel
Okay.
because we were doing online webinars before I got there and people hate webinars now. Like no one comes to a freaking free webinar anymore. And that was my jam when I was running my business. My jam was an online webinar. And I can vividly remember when that changed and people stopped caring and we're like, enough with the webinars. We're like, okay.
Right. Well, I remember, I don't know, you and I probably have been in a lot of the same world of like Jenna Kutcher,
Yeah.
Porterfield, and like
Mm-hmm.
I remember the switch from with like more B to not it's still technically B2B because we are business owners,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of people reached the breaking point of I don't know if you saw it, Jenna Kutcher and I think Russell Brunson and who is the big guy who the personal development coach. Tony Robbins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They did a webinar back in like 2022 ish, or maybe before, that was a 2 hour sales pitch. And it was,
Exactly. Exactly.
and
They
people
ruined
got,
webinars.
they ruined, and it's ironic. It's like the people who've been preaching, they officially ruined webinars. And I think in that moment, because they had spent so much money on advertising, they completely ruined it for
Yes.
everybody. I think, and that's when like it's not that we saw bro marketing. Like, bro marketing still works. Like, listen, I've spent enough money on $27 offers.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it was about that point we saw the massive shift of like webinars, but it's like I don't want to jump on live. Like, I'm going to watch this on my own time frame now,
Yeah.
because I'm setting aside 15 minutes before, an hour to hour and a half, and then 15 minutes probably after, if I'm honest, to maybe get value, or is this going to be a sales pitch? And like, that's like, for me, I don't watch live webinars. It's like, I'll watch the recordings if I can tell in the first 10 minutes it's going to be good. But
Right, exactly. No, they've literally ruined it. I've always said this. I didn't know it was them three.
yep,
I wasn't familiar with this 2 hour sales pitch, but I remember the change. I also like definitely creep the life coach snark on Reddit just to see what people are saying about life coaching, because I just like, that's my world, you know?
yep,
And to see the way people talk about like really high priced offers and the way that people talk about like marketing tactics and stuff, so fascinating, because there was a distinct change that people
yep.
said enough with the webinars. It's just a sales pitch. I'm here for 2 hours or however long. I'm not getting anything out of this. And you're just trying to get money out of me. And it's like, we lost the integrity there, and we
Yep.
haven't been able to build back up that confidence again.
I 100% agree. And like, did you see all the Alex Hormozy stuff that happened in the past couple days?
So no, because I've seen his name, but I don't know what happened.
Okay, so he sold $50 million worth of books in 24 hours.
Okay.
So like, he's like the big new marketing guru.
Yeah.
He's taken over what used to be Russell Brunson, Jenna Kutcher, Amy
Totally.
Porter, that whole world. He's like more on like the more masculine side.
Oh yeah, no, I follow him and his wife. They're insane, but it's funny.
Like, I got 7 emails from like 7 different creators about his stuff in the past like 24 hours. But it's interesting of like, how do we, because we still want the long form content, but how do we position it in a way that it's a workshop with a sales pitch after? And so like, people still jumped on that because they knew it was going to be valuable. They knew that,
because all his content is valuable.
Because all his content was like, if you want to run the webinar, the workshop, the whatever the long form is with the pitch at the end, you need to have some level of content where you're not 24/7 pitching people.
Also, and I think something that's really interesting about Alex Hormozy that makes him stand apart is, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but as long as I've known him, he makes money on being a private consultant for people.
Yep.
So he's not like shelling out courses and masterminds disguised, like huge scale masterminds where you never even get to talk to the person, disguised as these like intimate, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like the Jenna Kutcher, they all sell this, like, you get to be so close to me and that I'm going to help you and all this stuff. And then you get into it. You don't even get to any FaceTime with them. And it's super like informal. I think what Alex Hormozy does really well is that's not his source of income. Yeah, he sold a book at the end, but I think everyone knew he was going to sell a book. I can buy a book. Anyone can buy a book. So let's see what he's going to give us in exchange for a book. Like a book sales pitch, not a big deal.
Right. Well, he was selling, because like he's been selling the book for a couple of weeks. He was selling, the offer was really intriguing. It was 6,000, and it was, I'm interested how this is going to shake up. It was 200 copies of the book to give away to people. He was going to still house the books, and he had like 12 black books, like playbooks, that you could only get if you did the $6,000 offer plus the 200 book thing. So
what do you get from the $6,000 offer? Was that like
the 6,000 was the 200 copies of his new $100 million off, whatever the book is, the green book is. And then, but he would keep, and it was 200 like coupon codes more than like the actual book. So like 200 coupon codes, so you could go like sell them to your friends for like $5 or whatever. But what I was scared about was, so like the book is $30 each, 200. So it added up. So it was the equivalent of, but he gave out for everybody who bought the $6,000 offer, you got 6 to 12 additional black books. And they're the only way you can get the black books is if you buy the $6,000 offer.
That's so funny.
It's so like, here's the thing, that those black books are going to be on the internet somewhere where I gotta, like, how good are these books? because he built his entire business. He's built two businesses. One, he built Gym Rat way back in the day of like helping gyms scale, because he had been in his own gym for 3-ish years. So like give or take. And then he got acquisition.com. And he's only been doing acquisition.com since 2020. Like I thought he'd been doing it since like 2016 and he hadn't.
I was paying attention to him when he first rose, and I was like, whoa, this guy's different. Like
he's different. He came out of nowhere compared to the people who built their empire when marketing was 10 times easier.
Yes.
And that's what I have to remind small, mid-sized business owners all the time is all these people you've been following, they were in social media. They built their following. They built their lists when ads were a tenth of the cost, and you could build it and they will come.
And frankly, a lot of those people, those big, really successful business coaches from the 2017 to 2019 era are not doing well anymore. And you can kind of tell they're not converting how they used to. Because people lost trust. They lost faith in the big names and they're gravitating towards smaller creators now. I think what's really interesting about Alex Hormozi is that he kind of took the Gary Vaynerchuk route of like becoming almost a media company. Like Gary always talked about like, I'm a media company and content is everything. And so he took that same route where it's like him and Layla put out so much content. And like, I have to laugh because they're insane. They're both insane. I am so like, relax, whatever. And they're like, we work 12 hours a day and like, you just got to do it. But they're authentically themselves. Like, that's just how they are. And so it's fascinating to me. Like, I love watching them, even though I'm like, oh my God, you guys scare me. But like, it's interesting and it works. Like,
it's interesting. It works. I also was reminded the other day, it's like they have a 500-person company so that they don't have to do all their own editing.
Exactly.
Like they can build the content and then they hand the phone to somebody else and say, go deal with it now.
Exactly. And that's the media company aspect. Yeah.
It's that. And that's where it's so easy as like with like Financial Gym, with some stuff that I'm building with all of my clients. It's easy to look at these big people on the internet, these big companies who feel small. And realize it's like they're not actually that small, and they've been in business not necessarily longer, but they've had more access to resources.
Yes.
That mid-sized businesses have. Like with Financial Gym, from my understanding, it's just you. It's you and the entire, all of the marketing.
Yep.
That's a full-time job and a half.
It's like 3 full-time jobs. I'm very grateful that now we are in a position where I am getting offered more like support and I'm being clear about the support I need. So I know it's going to happen over the next few months. But yeah, I have to be very selective with what I put my energy into because it's like, there's only so much that one person can do. And marketing really is like a 6-person job at minimum, you know?
Yes. Oh, 100%. Especially if you're trying to do content.
Yeah. Oh,
content
yes.
is where like ads, you can run ads all day long. It's relatively straightforward. You can do an email a week, a blog post a week, but it's the content, it's the constant hamster wheel of the sheer volume of content that actually needs to get put out. That's like this, you need a content creator, you need someone to edit it, you need a video editor, you need 5 jobs just to get the volume that you would need in order to have a chance to be seen on social media right now.
Yeah.
And for you guys, I think it's interesting is like you're in the financial services-ish industry. And I'm curious about like, what are y'all doing to build, going back to like the concept of trust, how are y'all going and building trust with future clients?
So one of the things that's been really nice about our company is that like Financial Gym from the beginning, and Shannon McClay is the founder, and when she built this company, because she's no longer running it, but she founded it, ran it for 11 years, she built so much trust. I would say the data shows 30 to 40% of our clients come from referrals and word of mouth. So like the trust is really built in, which is fantastic. And like we have a lot of legitimacy in the industry with cold leads, cold audiences, and like new people. The thing that we're leaning in is 2 things. One, I'm beefing up the referral program right now. I think that's really important. For a while, we just like didn't have a way of tracking people. And so it was like only current clients could refer. And I was like, I think that's a big mistake. I think we're missing out on a lot, like given the numbers and what has worked in the past. Like, so right now I'm building out like a much more sophisticated referral program. We've already had a lot of people sign up. I want to really incentivize people to go out and tell their friends, because that is like the best way to build trust, is like a friend telling you, hey, join. I've had so many of my friends join. And I posted so much about it on TikTok. I had a ton of referrals when I was doing that. So it was like, it's right there. So that's for one. For two, I would say we lean into the messaging a lot of like, the financial gym started as a rejection of the financial services industry. We are not here to only help the rich get richer. We are here to democratize financial services. People like that. People want to hear that. And our trainers, I will say, like the second you talk to one of our trainers, it's game over. Our trainers are the best. Like they're just incredible. We have had people go to our competitors and then end up coming to us because they're like, your trainers actually care. They have great marketing and a great front facing thing, but they don't seem to care about me. Financial gym, I feel like you all actually care. And where it's like, because we do, we're all such like feelers. Like we're such just, we're really deeply caring people. And the trainers are so good at what they do that it's like, once you're in our world, people don't, like it's great. Yeah.
Okay, so you're building out a referral program so that can help you scale. What comes after that?
Great question. So we're working on the referral program. I have my quiz funnel that's up, which I was very proud of. We're running ads and stuff. I would like to do more in-person marketing next year. That's like something that I'm excited about. There's kind of two things I want to test out. The first one is like, I do want to test out podcast placements
Okay.
or podcast like, kind of like affiliate deals sort of things, because I think that we could be like the better help of financial services, of financial coaching.
Yep.
I see that for us. There are limitations when you're in the financial services industry. We are a registered investment advisor. We are an RIA. So like we do have limitations and things that we need to guidelines, things that we're still trying to work out and figure out.
Yep.
But like I just see that for the financial gym, like being a household name. The other thing is like, I want to get back to in-person marketing. I want to do like puppy yoga in the park. And it's like financial gym, like gym related stuff. There's all these like matchmaking events and like shows in New York, because that's where the company was originally based. There's all these like matchmaking events and shows. Like I would love to partner with them and have like a financial like matchmaking. Like I just have ideas that I'm like, let me at them, So there's just, once we get the foundation solid and like really have our tech catch up to like what we're doing, I just like have a lot of fun ideas that I'm excited about.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
So, looking back, what has been okay, you've been at the company since October. What's been the one thing that's been most instrumental to your success there?
Oh my God, data, truly. That sounds so like, duh, but there was so much data that we hadn't actually paved through, whatever. I'm like, is that the word? I went back and I pulled years of survey data because we didn't have good like source tracking when it came to our clients. And by good, I mean, we didn't have any source tracking. We just relied on like, how did you hear about us? Which is not very reliable, but it's something. No one had really gone through and processed that data in a long time to actually see what it said. Okay. No one had gone through and processed our new client surveys to see what it said, or our exit surveys. Like all this data was sitting there that I didn't even really know about, because like the onboarding was a bit hectic and it was just like, it was quick. Like it happened really fast. And then I got thrown into the lion's den and I was like, what's happening? So I found out that we had all this data and I started like combing through it, organizing it, looking at it. And I was like, oh, I think social media has been effective for us, but I think it is such a low priority given what the data is showing us that like we do really well in Google, referrals and word of mouth, like partnerships with, we used to have partnerships with like the Skim and like all these other big sort of, and so that was like very motivating for me, because I was like, okay, let's like lean into what actually works and do more of that. And that was, it's simple, but it is the truth.
Right. And it's especially when you think about partnerships, the thing I keep coming back to over and over and over again, and I just got off a conversation with someone about this, is making partnerships in like B2B spaces can be so much more lucrative than trying to sell to individual consumers.
Yep.
Because it's the same amount of energy to make a sale to convince someone to become a partner and do the marketing essentially for you to some degree.
Exactly.
Is to go to sell to a single person to get them in $130-ish membership.
Exactly.
For 3 to 6 months. And it's like, what's actually moving the needle is how do we make more B2B partnerships?
Yeah. And like, press placements have always worked really well for us. That was very big during 2020 that whoever was doing marketing at that time was very good at getting press placements. And so like bringing that back, just like there's so many more efficient ways that we can get our name out there that like sometimes can be harder to track. It's harder to track if the press is working. It's harder to track if like a podcast is converting the way you think it is. But I think it's worth taking the chance on and the risk because like it's if it works, the payoff is so good.
Right. So last question, looking back, if you were talking to another marketing director who was where you were in October, so they just started a new gig, what's the first thing you tell them to do?
I would say take inventory of everything. I kind of did that, but I kind of didn't know what I was looking for. Because I was new, I was new. She did take a chance to hire me, and I like really appreciated that. And this was my first kind of big girl job, and so I was like, oh my god, what do I like? I've always done it for myself, but like, what am I really dealing with? Like, we have 11 years of data and stuff from that's been lost in the shuffle. They didn't have a marketing person for a while. It was a whole thing. So really dig into the data. I think first and foremost, look at like what you don't have and start building out trackers, building out those systems. I think marketing operations are so important. I jumped right into making content because that's what I knew without looking at like, wait, do we have the operations to be like tracking this stuff efficiently? So I definitely like did that a little backwards. I would say the other thing too is like advocate for the support that you need. I think a marketer's job is just as much as it is marketing, it is like hiring.
Yep.
And advocating for hiring. And it doesn't need to be full-time hiring, it can be contractors or whatever. But like advocating for hiring and being like, I can't do this alone. This is an area that I need to like delegate if we want to do this consistently and do it well. And being able to like stand your ground in that, I think is really important because a lot of us come in feeling like, oh my God, the fate of the company is on our shoulders. Like that's how it can feel. And the reality is that's not true. And like what is true is that like this only works when you are adequately supported.
Yep, 100%. So Whitney, thank you so much for coming on the show today. If people want to connect with you further, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Whitney Catalano. What's the best way? I have a website that's really out of date. Maybe don't look at that, but I do have like a link tree that's there. But yeah, you can just DM me, honestly. And then if you're interested in the Financial Gym, it's financialgym.com. You can always email me, Whitney@fingyms.com, FINGYMS.com. That's like my professional email. But yeah, you could DM me, whatever. I'm super easy. Like I don't, it's not hard to get a hold of me.
You're relatively easy to track down.
Yeah.
I love it. So for everyone tuning in today, thank you so much for joining. And remember, if you are looking for a marketing agency, you can skip the grunt work and get a free strategy session over at perrysonnetwork.com. And we'll connect you with a perfect fit marketing partner. We'll catch you on the next episode of Humans of Growth.